Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Talk This Way. I'm Marcia Martin, and today we're delving into a topic close to my heart: sustainable success. In a world where success is often equated with constant achievement, we're going to redefine what it truly means. Sustainable success isn't about perpetual triumphs. It's about embarking on a journey of growth, expansion, and meaningful contribution, navigating the ebbs and flows of life with resilience and grace. From my early years, I've been immersed in the world of human potential, guided by meditation, self-reflection, and an innate connection to inner power. This foundation has shaped my path, from a corporate executive to a founding member of the human potential movement, and now to sharing wisdom as an elder in our community. In this episode, we'll explore the nuances of sustainable success. We'll discuss how every challenge and experience is an opportunity for growth, and how maintaining a positive mindset and perspective can transform our lives. I'll share insights into harnessing personal power, the importance of staying centered, and making conscious choices in response to life's triggers. We'll look at how these principles don't just lead to professional success, but enrich all facets of our lives, from personal relationships to community impact. And for those eager to dive deeper, I'll introduce you to the Marcia Martin Membership Club, a treasure trove of resources and digital online access to a library of amazing training materials to guide you in your journey of self-discovery and growth. So whether you're seeking to redefine your definition of success, enhance your personal and professional life, or simply join a conversation about living with purpose and authenticity, this episode is for you. Let's embark on this journey of sustainable success together. Here we go.
Welcome to FemFM and this edition of the House of Preeminence. Today we are talking again to one of my founding contributors, my executive contributors, and also Global Connections editor. She has been here right since the start of House of Preeminence, and she is an absolutely fine example of what this conversation is all about in this issue, which is sustainable sweet soul success. So my beautiful partner and friend has been, my goodness, she has been working in the field of human potential for decades. One of the founders of the human potential movement. She will tell you herself what her path was, but she is such an amazing example of sustainable success, because I'm going to let her tell you how old she's going to be next birthday. And she is still knocking it out the ballpark and reinventing herself and reinventing her business and growing and collaborating and expanding and traveling. And she has so much energy. And I love her to bits. She has also, this is a very key thing. This issue is all about globality, humanity. We are dropping back into the heart. And she has the biggest heart of all and is one of the most enlightened people I have ever met. She is the influencer's influencer. She has trained tens of thousands of people all over the world. There isn't anything she hasn't done, actually. Not a lot. So welcome back, my gorgeous Marcia Martin.
Oh, Jenny, thank you. I really want to meet whoever you just introduced. Thank you for having me. It's my joy to be here. And I love working with you. And of course, love being a founding member and a contributing editor of House of Preeminence, which is such a gift and glorious, valuable asset for all women all over the globe and the men that they love.
Thank you. It is indeed, and we are doing great work together for the greater good. So let's just turn the spotlight on your life, Marcia. What has been your guiding light? What has carried you through? You've done so many things. What has carried you through to keep evolving? And you've lived a pretty magical life. Not always, but nevertheless, you've done some incredible things. So, in your words, what is it, and what can you share with our audience that will help them to keep, ever evolving into their highest life, whatever age they are, whatever revenue they are?
Well, first of all, I do want to just address this term sustainable success. And for me, sustainable success isn't that you're succeeding all the time, but that you're on the road to expanding and growing and having something that really works and contributes in the world. Success really is a lot of bumps, ups and downs, ins and outs, kind of like being on a surfboard. And it's a raging ocean sometimes, and then it's a nice, smooth ocean sometimes. But whether or not you stay on the surfboard and you do your best to get to the goal of getting to shore is really where your focus needs to be. So sustainable success to me is being on the journey of keeping growing and expanding. It's not that we're succeeding all the time. It's that we're on a path that grows and expands as we go and continues to contribute. And my journey has been magical. It's a special journey, I think. And it started when I was very young in terms of being trained and awakened. And I think one of the core parts of why I am considered successful and why my life is considered so magical is from a very early age in my teenage years, I was trained to look within, to meditate, to reflect, and to connect with my own inner power and how to harness and access that inner power and come from that place that I'm responsible and that I can cause things to happen and that I can make circumstances. So from a very early age, I had a perspective that I wasn't a victim and that I had power, personal power, and that I was connected to whatever the power of the universe is and how we all call it different kinds of things. But whether we say it's life or the universe or the force, as in some of our movies that we all love, or God or the higher power or our higher self or spirit, that particular power is accessible to all of us. My aunt, who was a clairvoyant healer and an esoteric astrologist, took me under her wing as an intern when I was in my late teens. And until my early 20s, I trained with her and learned about vibration. I learned about the energies. I learned how things are connected. I learned how to access my own internal power. And from that foundation, then I've been able to come into the world with a special kind of observation and knowing that I'm on the right path. It's okay to have failures or ups and downs, that I can handle it. I can get back up. I can rise from the ashes. And that is all a gift of experience of what I need to learn and grow and understand in order for me to be the most effective human being that I can be in life. So that's the beginning point and kind of the foundation of what I call the secret to having sustainable success.
So, Marcia, so many people at your stage in life have either retired or they're thinking about retirement or they're kind of checking out of professional life. What is it that you're still pioneering? You're still going after your own potential and helping other people's realize their potential. What is it that gets you up every day and keeps you on track with that destiny?
Well, first of all, just to give a little background, I've been in many phases of my life. I've been a corporate executive in a large corporation. I was one of the founding members of EST, which became the Landmark Forum, which now is in hundreds of countries and has reached and trained millions of people. And I was the senior vice president from inception for the first 10 years of that organization. So I've had the experience of being a corporate executive, building an organization. I've been an entrepreneur. I've put together several companies, some of my own, some to help others that have started from nothing, just with an innovative idea, and go out there and get it done and be on your own and build your team and have your own time schedule and not be part of a company, but have your own company. So I've done that. And I've also done personal seminars for the public. I've created workshops and seminars where individuals can come and learn about themselves and personal power and communication skills and leadership competency and championship performance. And the phase of my life that I'm in right now is really making a difference inside of corporations that have entrepreneurial spirit. I work with very high-level senior executives in some of the best companies in the world. Right now, one of my most favorite clients is Hard Rock Hotels International. And I travel all over the globe training their senior executives in leadership and championship performance. And my purpose, or the thing that keeps me going, is that I know if I can help to awaken one person at a time who can make a difference, who is making a difference, who wants to make a difference, to the point that they can make even a bigger difference in life, then I'm really happy and fulfilled. And what I consider about retirement, I was one of the chief speakers at my high school reunion when we had our 50th reunion. And what I talked about was retirement and what it is for people, because most of my high school companions and friends were really looking towards retiring or had retired as if it was this special thing. And to me, it's not a special thing. I think what I'm looking to be and what I'm hoping I am now is an elder, and that it's my phase of life of passing on wisdom. So I don't want to retire and disconnect. I want to go to the next space or stage of my ability to contribute.
I love that. An elder. Yes, beautiful, beautiful, magical elder. I love that metaphor that you gave just now about the surfboard. And you're right. We can't ride that crest of the wave all the time, because not only have we got to stay on the wave, but we come into shore, and then we got to get off it and then paddle back out to sea to start again. So let's look a little bit about how we fall off. We fall off the surfboard. Either our business doesn't work, or we get a health challenge, or a project we're working on just doesn't work out, or we get a pandemic. Just like this is a great one. This is a great one. These are big waves. So what are is your own kind of toolkit? Can you share for what happens when things get really, really shaky?
Well, I think the biggest tool in my toolkit and what I teach other people is perspective and mindset. So it really does make a difference what your mindset is, or the perspective you have, where you're looking from, what your assumptions are. So I had one of my clients in a workshop the other day, and she said she'd had a bad day yesterday. And she went on talking about how glad she was today was a good day. And I challenged her and I said, why would you call any day a bad day, or really any day a good day? It's just the day that it is. And whatever's happening on that day is what's happening. But you can be coming from your personal power and respond and choose responses that work appropriately to the situation to cause a certain result, whether the particular event or circumstance is what you consider bad or good. In other words, the wave is not something you can change. You can't change the terrain. Stop trying to change the river. Stop trying to change the circumstances that you find yourself in, and put your attention on who you are and what is your choice to respond to those particular circumstances. And then what happens is you develop different kinds of skills. You start to learn, how to get back up on the surfboard really fast when you've been thrown off. But you don't say being thrown off was bad. It was just what happened. And having that perspective really allows you to operate into the world and keep moving and move with your own personal power and your own special joy. So that is one of the biggest tools that I consider in anyone's toolbox to get and start looking. Is the way I'm looking at something, is the assumption I have about how this works, is my belief system right now that I'm using in this particular circumstance or event or with this particular relationship working? Is it working to produce the result that is my intention, or is it not? And if it's not working, then to say to yourself, wow, I better get a different perspective here because this one isn't working, rather than having to hold on and be attached to some belief system that doesn't work. The other thing I would say is that particular perspective that I use is everything is a gift. So if something happens to me, including COVID, I consider there's a purpose for this event in my life if it's come across my path, and that there's something here I need to know or experience or handle or deal with or consider or reflect upon in order for me to be a better human being. And so I think that perspective for people, that life is a gift, whatever's in front of you is what needs to be there for you to be your highest self.
Spoken like a true wise elder.
Thank you.
So let's dive a little bit deeper on this personal power thing, because even though our audience are very aware change makers, they may know something about consciousness, they may know nothing about consciousness, they may feel kind of lost in this global events thing, because I'm really passionate at the moment about bringing people also back to their personal power, back to the fact that they are infinite creators within what's going on. You said we can't change the wave, but we can change the way we ride it. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, really bringing people back to their power as creators?
Well, I think in the most simplest way to explain is people should understand how they experience. So there are events in life, things happen. And then there's how you respond to that event. And the two ways you can respond, if you break it down really simply, are you respond, which is a choice, or you react, which is you're being triggered or you're on automatic. And what happens in life is we all have old events, circumstances, things that have happened in our life that include traumatic things. And whether it's we fell down and skinned our knee, or we had a bicycle stolen, or we lost a love, or someone we cared about died, or we had to have a divorce, or whatever it is, those things carry with it loss and pain and trauma and shock and threat of survival. And so the mind has a way of holding on to those old experiences, kind of cataloging them in a library so we can access them in case we need to have that information again. And the problem with that particular system is how the mind knows if it's some information we need to use for a now present situation, and we should get this information from the past of what we did and how we handled it and how we responded and what emotional state we were in, and to decide whether we should use that or not, is the mind considers whatever's happening to be like the old event if it looks like it, or if it sounds like it, or if it feels like it, or even if the mind thinks it might at some point in the future look like, sound like, feel like it. So you can imagine how everybody gets triggered around everything, because eventually everything's going to sound like, feel like, look like, or might sound like, feel like, look like something that you did or felt or had happen in the past. And when that system triggers itself or goes on default or activates and goes into action, it pulls up those old ways that you acted or responded in the past. And some of those old ways of being, acting, speaking, feeling aren't appropriate or don't work in the present situation, but you're triggered and then you go on default and you automatically react from that place of the old incident. So if people can be more aware of what triggers them, and before they act, have a principle where they say to themselves, before I respond, before I get into action, before I speak, before I make a decision, before I take action, I'm going to center first. Because when you're triggered, you get off center. And when you're off center, you're thrown into this world of emotional reaction, feelings that don't really support you. You're off balance. And so it's not the best place to make a choice from. So if you can have a principle in life that says center first, then act. And centering is the situation where you train yourself to be present, open, and connected. Present being I'm here now in present time, rather in my head, rather worrying about the past, rather than concerned about the future. So present, open, not closed down, not isolated, not pulled back, but willing to consider possibilities, to be open to something, even though you may not believe it at the time, or you may not consider it so, or whatever. You might have a different position, but at least you're open to considering it possible. And connected, to realize that you're part of a whole, and that when you move, when you speak, when you take an action, it affects everything and everyone in the whole universe, that everything is connected. And to come from that place of being responsible, that when you do something, it affects somebody else. When you say something, it affects everything from, how the weather is to the health of someone in your environment. So if you say to yourself, I'm going to center first before I take action, that gives you a little tool to not be triggered or on automatic when something triggers you and brings up these old traumas and old events that the mind has stored as information that you might need in order to survive. If you run into a situation that might look like or feel like or sound like that old thing, which pretty much is everything, right? So what happens is you begin to train yourself. Something happens, an event happens, and whether it's somebody yelling at you and they seem to be angry, or whether it's you don't get the promotion that you want, or whether it's you lose a race, or you don't get the amount of money that you needed, or you get evicted. I mean, there's all sorts of things that are happening in the world, and they trigger us. So whatever that event is, when you get triggered, you're on automatic. And when you're on automatic, you're not centered, you're not present, open, and connected. And when you're not present, open, and connected, you can't make choices that are really appropriate to and most successful for the result that you want to produce. So you begin to train yourself to notice first what triggers you, and then you begin to train yourself to get back to center when you're off center. And nobody's going to be able to be centered all the time, because we have emotions and because we're human beings. But so it's not a good game to play of how do I be centered all the time? That's an ineffective game. But if you played the game, how do I get back to center faster than what it took me the last time this threw me off? That's a worthwhile game to play, because it trains you to be more effective. And the faster you can get back to center and whatever throws you off center, then you're at a place where you're present, open, and connected. Now you can choose. And that's a different kind of thing that happens than reaction. When you choose, you're responding. and you're awake, you're present, open, and connected. So you can choose something, hopefully, that allows you to move the ball forward down the field. In other words, that forwards your mission, or forwards the relationship that you're in, or makes things better for you and the people around you, or makes something happen and impacts the world in the best way. So that's a good tool to have, is to center first and then act.
What's coming to me while you're talking so eloquently is that the whole idea of a sustainable, successful lifestyle, business, whatever that looks like to each one, is a big picture. It's the macro picture. And what you're doing is you're breaking it down into the micro picture, is that desire to project ourselves onto the world. And I'm going to do something great in the world. I am going to, create an amazing business. I'm going to create an amazing magazine. I'm going to create an amazing coaching business and make an impact, actually comes down to what you've just been talking about, which is moment to moment choices.
Yeah, very good, Jenny. And I think that when we have a dream, or we have an intention, or we have a mission, which is the bigger picture, it's like kind of where we want to go, that's the first thing that needs to be in place. And then just let that go and know that you know where you're going. And then begin to be here now and respond as effectively as you can in each moment. And it's the combination of those two things that allow for sustainability and success, for sure.
Beautiful. I don't think we can say it better. You couldn't say it better than that. Just so succinct and people can get their heads around that, and it makes total sense. So I know you have a favorite expression, which is people either have results or reasons why they don't have the results. Yes?
Yes, it's the way I was trained by one of my great mentors in life. When I was at an early age, Werner Erhard always told me that life could be divided into two things. You either have the results that you've promised, or you have the reasons that you don't have those results. And that you should choose to see what kind of a person you want to be, a results person or a reasons person. So my life is about, of course, there are excuses and circumstances and reasons, but I don't connect them to whether I produce the result or not. They're not the cause of success or failure for me. I keep my attention on the result I want to produce, and I notice that there are all of these reasons and excuses that may come up, but I don't let them determine whether I'm going to produce the result or not. I know that they're happening at the same time, but they're not connected for me. And that's been part of my early training.
And also because I know your stories now, which are in every issue of the magazine, is that comes down to your philosophy of be, do, have, which I think we'll just save that one for another day, because it's just such a beautiful tool in itself. It's not just a story. But what I want to let you share, Marcia, is that talk about sustainability. You have brought all of the resources that you have built up over many, many years for the benefit of others.
Well, what I'm doing right now is the thing that I call the Marcia Martin Membership Club. It's really a club for people who want to have championship performance in their life. It's a library, a digital library. It's a resource, so to speak. And as you know, I've led thousands of workshops and seminars and done many, many speaking engagements and been on many podcasts being interviewed. And all of those years where I was doing these workshops and seminars on a regular basis, they were videoed. And I used the videos to help me see how effective I was, or to train others. And I always thought someday I'm going to take those videos and transcribe them. And that's going to be the resource that I will use, the raw data, for writing a lot of books. And so I carried these videos around in hundreds of boxes over many years from different places of my where I lived. And one day, which was fortunate, it was a good year and a half way before COVID, I got this idea that maybe what I should do is just create a Marcia Martin Netflix library, or like an HBO on demand Marcia Martin. Anyway, I thought, what if I take those workshops and I edit them a bit so that they can be put in modules, and we can describe what each module is and how long it is and what it's for. And I could create a club or a library of digital access to all of this information and wisdom and training tools. And so that's what I've done. And if you go to Marcia Martin Club, and we know Marcia is spelled Marcia, marciamartinclub.com, you can find a way to enroll and subscribe and be a member and have access to all of this material. And the people that have been using, the members, they write me on a regular basis and they say things like, I think you're rewiring my brain in the best sense. Or they say, oh my God, you just saved my marriage. Or they say, my profit has doubled and I can sell now and have fun and it's effortless. All of these kinds of things that I wasn't really sure if it would work, because I know what happens if you're in a room with me in person and we're interacting. Magic happens in those rooms and people transform. But I was kind of hesitant, or at least curious, to see if people would get value if they watched it on video. And it's really remarkable. It works really well. And right now, the club is set up so, each workshop is defined in terms of, this workshop was led in Toronto in 2000 and whatever, and then the name of the workshop and what it does, and then it's broken down into modules. And so you can watch it a half hour at a time, or an hour at a time, or a day at a time. And they're 2 and 3 and 4 day workshops, or different kinds of speeches that I've done, or podcasts. So there's a half hour on this or an hour on that. And you kind of have to search for what you're looking for, even though we do a good job of describing each of the modules. But what we're about ready to do, because right now you can get all of that access and all of that value for $10 a month, or even if you order it annually, you have it for $100 for the year, which is only $8 a month. We're about ready to go into a real complicated way of taking all of that really great material and putting it in a library where people understand exactly what they need and how to get there. And we're going to categorize it, and we're going to build up the library, and the price is going to go up substantially. But what I've determined is anybody who is in the club until that time happens will remain at that price of $10 a month forever, as long as they continue their membership. And so it's a really great thing to do right now, to go to marciamartinclub.com and enroll and get access to the materials. And I'm building that into an even bigger library where I'll have access to myself and access to events and webinars, so that people can also interact with me and ask questions and share and meet other people in the community. That's my great project right now, in addition to the transforming of the organizations that are entrepreneurial spirit, but corporations like Hard Rock Hotels.
Absolutely. So anybody listening to this is a no-brainer, folks. You can get access to Marcia's, her whole career full of wisdom, and it's not just about sustainable business success. There is relationships, there is speaking, there is enrolling, there's the whole picture. Because this is what I want to come back to. Maybe we can just conclude on this note: is all of these areas all contribute to our holistic success. That it isn't just about revenue, and it isn't just about spiritual fulfillment. Is all of these areas contribute to a beautiful. We don't like the word success really, but people know what it is. So all of these different areas all contribute to a fulfilled and thriving and abundant lifestyle. Would you agree?
I totally agree. And I love that when I'm in an organization working with clients or coaching, or even leading seminars on business or sales or communication skills, whatever the specific topic is, whether it's leadership or, building teams or, like you said, sales and communication. What people tell me is the way I speak and the things I speak about and the things that I train them in and make them aware of, and how their consciousness is expanded and how their mind is trained and how their skill sets are elevated while learning about that specific tool or skill, that what happens is it's applicable in their whole life. And what they say is, Marcia, I use the same thing you taught me about selling. I use it with my children. I use it at home. I use it with my family. I use it with my parents. And it's made all of my relationships more valuable. It makes life more fun. It just touches everything. So I'm really pleased to say, yes, absolutely. It applies to all of those areas holistically.
I always want to curtsy in your company. It doesn't feel like I want to curtsy. Anyway, I think you've that you're just such a light in the world, such a light in humanity, such a light in my life, such a light in the magazine. Continue to shine for as long as possible, as long and happily as possible.
Thank you. I'll be here for quite a while, for sure.
Yes. Like when it comes to sustainability, like we've got your back. Like we want you to keep going because you've got a lot of people's lives to touch still. Thank you
so much, Jenny.
So thank you so much for coming and talking to us about where you are right now in the journey, and how it's unfolding and how we're unfolding together in the House of Preeminence. And please, folks, go and check out all of the resources, the links. Your life will be magnified by being in the space of the incredible Marcia Martin. So thank you, Marcia.
Thank you, Jenny. God bless.
Thanks for listening to Talk This Way. If you enjoyed the episode, follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And for access to training, courses, and other ways to learn from Marcia, visit marciamartin.com. That's MARCIA.